Former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz continues his dumpster fire of a campaign by then tweeting and then deleting a tweet insulting Democrats. Now, these specific Democrats are Kamala Harris and Elizabeth Warren. Now, in this now deleted tweet, Schultz linked to a piece that called Senator Kamala Harris both shrill and then called Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas. Okay. Now, let me read this tweet here. It says, thank you, Roger Simon, who wrote the piece, for a thoughtful analysis of what's possible. Hashtag reimagine us. Now, he tweeted, as I said, a link to PJ Media. Now, this is Roger L. Simon is a writer for PJ Media. And let me tell you how thoughtful this piece is. Well, actually, you know what? Let's actually read some from it. Now, he says, current frontrunner Kamala Harris is far from reassuring. Well, now look, if you're going to say that, I agree with that, right? Now, but he says, quote, she's a shrill, see the Kavanaugh hearings, quasi-socialist, promising pie-in-the-sky Medicare for all, debt-free college, guaranteed pre-K, minimum basic income, confiscatory taxes, and she's just getting started. Bernie Sanders and others will soon be following suit. Pocahontas already has, competing in a game of socialist one-upsmanships. Wow. So, PJ Media, guys. Hey, the writers at PJ Media, they're when they're praising you, you know you're doing something horribly wrong, as they were praising Howard Schultz. Now, why would they praise Howard Schultz in the beginning? Well, he's running as, quote, a centrist independent with a focus on debt reduction in the national debt, as well as reining in so-called entitlements. So the writers over at PJ Media are like, yeah, preserve them tax cuts for the rich. Yeah, don't have them touch my wealth. Don't have them do Medicare for all, things that are deeply, deeply popular. No, we don't want that. We don't want that. So we will actually support you and say that you have a good chance of winning. By the way, he actually doesn't. So now, on the substance here for his criticisms of Kamala Harris. For one, calling her the front runner, not correct. She's actually polling about third. And that's after her her town hall on CNN. She's behind both Biden and Bernie Sanders. So calling her the front runner is not factually correct. But what's even worse is calling Kamala Harris shrill. So now, I'm no Harris fan, right? But this was a sexist attack. Calling a woman shrill, especially a woman of color, is deeply both racist and sexist. And not only that, but here you have him also using that slur against Elizabeth Warren. So that is deeply, deeply problematic. And of course, this was tweeted out by a supposed centrist independent. Now, later on, Schultz' team said, oh, no, it wasn't Howard. He didn't tweet that out. No, it was a staffer's low-level guy, really low-level coffee boy. No, I'm kidding. That's something that Donald Trump would say. But this is Trumpian fashion. So, now, here's the thing, right? So, look, Howard Schultz, he never had a chance to begin with. Let's be honest. And now he has even less of a chance. I mean, the guy's already running against Medicare for all, free college, and higher taxes on the wealthy. And what he's running for is cutting your Social Security and Medicare, and Medicaid. So these are positions that are deeply unpopular. If Howard Schultz thinks that he has a chance in hell, it's not true. Not true at all. And look, here's the reason, right, that I'm talking about Howard Schultz. Again, we know he never had a chance in hell. So why are we talking about him? It's because everybody's talking about him. He's a billionaire. And so that's why he's on The View. That's why he's getting on Morning Joe. That's why he's on CNN. The only reason that people take him seriously is because he's rich. He's a self-funded billionaire. So they look at him, they're like, woo, Howard Schultz. Ooh, Howard Schultz is running for president. Get him on the show. Get him on the show. Get him on the show. Did they do the same for Richard Ojeda? A lot of you might be saying, who? Exactly. That's the point. Did they do it for anybody else? Did they do it for Bernie Sanders back when almost no one knew him? No, of course not. Because he's a billionaire and all they care about is having someone who's a billionaire onto their shows. Why? Because most of these TV pundits and TV shows are people that already have multi-millions of dollars, right? Tens of millions of dollars. And so they look at Howard Schultz and said, well, he's my guy. He's just like me. He's self-made. Which, by the way, Howard Schultz is not a self-made billionaire. There is no such thing. Everyone always got some help along the way. And so him saying that he wants to basically push the ladder out from behind him because he went through public housing and he went to public school and he wants to cut taxes and make sure that taxes for corporations are low and starve the government of revenue, well, that's kicking the ladder out. And while he did do some good things for his employees at Starbucks, that doesn't mean he'll make a good president. In fact, he would make a terrible president. I don't want any more billionaire presidents. Unless, of course, you have a billionaire that turns out being just like FDR. Now, FDR, this doesn't get said a lot, but FDR was a very wealthy person. Of course he was. But he was one guy who understood that for society to be just, there cannot be a giant concentration of wealth at the top. And he actually championed and put in place programs that help reduce that inequality and to help people that are poor, to help people that are elderly, to help people that are sick. He put in some of the most popular programs in the country. None of these billionaires that are running right now, Schultz and Bloomberg specifically, understand that. They're not that. They're no one's FDR. Instead, they want more austerity, they want less taxes on themselves, and more deregulation on business. Those are not centrist common sense positions. Those are corporatist positions. And unfortunately for Howard, Americans left and right are done with corporatists. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.